Put them on blast.
You gotta do the sport.
Talking about what? Table?
Rainbow.
Talking about the table?
It's my area, I usually clean.
Whatever you got going on, I don't know. Don't ask me, I don't care. That's not my side. I'll deal with that.
I want the damn kids on.
And everything else like that.
Hello, I'm not gonna be shouted. This is group time. Group time. Group time. We're not supposed to be cleaning. We're supposed to be paying attention. We're supposed to be sitting. No side conversation. Respect whatever each person is saying. Raise our hands if we want to talk. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, you take a seat, Mr. Gary. So, cleaning and stuff, I think it's supposed to be done prior to group. Or who we're supposed to do their chores. So, we're talking about addictive thinking, criminal thinking, and behaviors. So we all experience some form of criminal thinking, addictive behaviors. Yes, no?
Yes. Well, I'm here.
So we're gonna discuss criminal addictive thinking patterns.
Who's Jelly D? Microwave. David was Thanks, bro.
Thanks, John.
Let's try to stay on topic. Be clear. Everyone has one?
No, I late.
No, I'm not.
So. How was everyone's day? You had a good day?
Wonderful.
Absolutely marvelous.
Good day today? Those who work? Good day at work? No one work today? This is okay?
We're all on MRT, I think.
Okay.
My day was wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
So, who wants Start.
I'll read. Mr. Chairman. Criminal and addictive thinking patterns. As noted earlier, criminal and addictive thinking patterns are linked. Each criminal thinking pattern is closely related to addictive thinking pattern. They are defined below. Criminal thinking patterns. Victim stance, good person stance, unique person stance, fear of exposure, lack of time perspective, selective effort, use of power to control, seek excitement first, and ownership stance. Addictive thinking patterns are self-pity stance, good person stance, unique person stance, fear of exposure, lack of time perspective, selective effort, use of deceit to control, seeking pleasure first, and ownership stance.
So who can identify me in one of these that they have used, practiced, benefited from?
Yeah, I've used all of these at one time or another. I used to use the victim stance a lot, like, oh, well, if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't have done that, or like, oh, I don't have the money to afford this, so I'm doing it for good intentions to take this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, all of them I've used at one time or another.
Okay. So who wants to continue in detail with the victim stance?
Detail.
What is the victim stance? Now we all take a closer look at these patterns, victim stance. The criminal thinking pattern allows you to blame others for your situation you usually created for yourself. You make excuses and point fingers at others, claiming you were the one who was wrong. You try to justify your behavior by self-pity stance. This addictive thinking pattern makes you think the world is just out to get you. You claim that your life is miserable and screwed up, and why shouldn't you drink or use drugs? Anyone identify?
Yeah.
Yep. So has it worked?
No.
Okay. Has it ever worked? Self-pity. You want your family, friends, or you're trying to get something from to believe you, to feel sorry for you, so therefore you can go on and get a high or drink.
At a time, the self-pity stance worked for me, because my family, they felt they have pity on me, so what I was going through, and I took the self-pity stance and the victim stance. I made it look like I was a victim, and had them pity me, like, give me everything that I want, just about.
Anyone else? Who wants to read good person stance?
Good person stance. When you adopt this criminal thinking pattern, you can consider yourself to be a good person no matter what. You work hard to present that image to others. In fact, you may not only consider yourself a good person, but may think you're better than others. As a good person stands, addictive thinking, you focus on the good things you've done and ignore the harm.
Anyone relate?
Yes.
So you can say you're good, you're the best person, but yet, the harm you cause the other person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stand up to what you have done. But you're good, you did something good. whatever the rationality is, it's all in your head, in reality. Because you're trying to be good, but then, does it matter? When you're trying to be the good person? Does it matter? Now that we're all clean, right? We're all, not under influence, let's put it that way. Reality.
I raise my hand because I don't just consider myself a good person. I know I'm a good person. But when I'm doing some of the things I do, I prepare to think about the harm that it may be doing to somebody else.
So we,
I used to think like, I would convince myself like I would do like, especially when I was working, I would steal from my company all the time. Like, I did air conditioning and people couldn't afford like the services. So I would just like charge them cash to like, I'd say first they need free on it, it's gonna cost like $500. I'd tell them, well, look, if you got cash and then you got $250, I'll do it for you. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I would justify my actions by saying like, oh, I'm helping this person out. I mean, and really that's just my criminal way of stealing from my company. You know? Like that.
so what would you do with the money?
I would buy drugs for it. Because really I was like, that was my way of saying, how am I gonna come up with it? And I would literally be looking for these people. Like when I knew like I could tell by the way I talk to them when I'm telling them a price for certain things, you could tell that they didn't have the money. So I'd be like, you know what I'm saying, if I could help you out, you know, between me and you. And that was my way of and I made good money doing that. Like I mean, sometimes some days I'd walk away with $500-600 doing it, right? Usually do about 8 calls a day, you know. And I knew at least one of these calls I'm gonna be able to get off. You know what I mean? That was my way of thinking. Like I don't know, it was like I felt like I was doing a good thing, but at the same time, like I was really doing it to just feed my habit and not have to come out of my paycheck. My paycheck was used to pay the bills and stuff, and I would just hustle every day to get my drugs in. You know?
Yeah, I can relate to a good person stance, but I used to do good things for my family, but at the same time, my addiction, I had my addiction around me. So I never looked at the way my addiction used to harm my family. I didn't think about that. I only thought, okay, I did this, I did that for them, or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying, they should just don't even worry about my addictive behavior. But later on in life, I realized that was the wrong way of thinking. Really, even though I did good things, but my addiction really weighed more harm than the good that I did do.
Thank you. Anyone else? Unique persons that wants to read that copy.
So you want me to read that?
Yeah.
Is that the first page?
No, I'm
I do that. Unique person stance. This criminal thinking pattern allows you to think no one in the whole world is like you or has experienced what you have. Rules don't apply to you. You commit crimes because you never think you'll get caught. You believe that if you think it, then it must be that way. You also use unique person stance to feed your addiction. Maybe you think your alcohol or other drug use makes you especially cool.
Some people thought that. Oh, unique, yes, to a sense. But when it comes to the alcohol or the drugs or whatever not, are we really unique? Yeah, no.
No, your personality makes you unique, not drugs or alcohol or anything. It's how you go about things, not following,
So,
mainstream dumb shit.
so for example, if you thought you get away with everything that you were doing, and it keeps going and going and going. So you feel like you're above the law, you get away with it, you know, you never get caught.
There's nothing unique about it.
Some people have that mindset.
That's just lucky.
So is it luck?
Or no, you can just know how to move, but it doesn't make you unique. There's not drugs, alcohol that make you unique. Like when I was younger, when I first smoked weed, I thought it was because it's cool, but then it just came like, oh, this ain't cool, you know? This is just my lifestyle, you know? But I was like, fuck blending in, fuck these people. Like, it's all about how you go about yourself. Like, instead of trying to impress others, what makes you unique is impressing yourself. You know? I feel like so many people try to fit in, and still to this day, no matter what their age is, you know, and I think it's just like at a point where you're just being unique is being unique to yourself, not to anybody else. Fuck what anybody else thinks.
Yeah, we are unique in a sense, but not when it comes to the mindset, addictive thinking. When you think about it, you're unique, you're this because you can get away with being high, going to work high, going to school high, you know, hustling up the money to feed your habit, but eventually it comes to an end. And then we all have the same thing in common. We're not unique as we think we are. So everything is a state of mind. So earlier in my group, we talk about MAPIT. MAPIT, which is part of addictive thinking. So where is your thinking lies, metaphorically? So you create a map for yourself. Some are distorted thinking, false beliefs, you think you could get away with drugs, you're keep going and you keep going. So therefore, when you're thinking, you always think to manipulate the situation, to get away with this, to get away with that. That's your method, your mindset, what you're thinking about. So now you have clarity, you're no longer on drugs. So what map are you going to create for yourself moving forward? Are you going to change your addictive thinking? Are you going to change those behaviors and create a new roadmap to say, set new goals? You have clarity, you're not going to manipulate, you're not going to lie, you're not going to steal anymore. What is your new roadmap moving forward in your thinking? So in addictive thinking and behavior, primarily is that you change your thoughts. Primarily feelings change, therefore your behavior change. Easier said than done. So with you guys now, you're saying, okay, I used to think I can hustle up a money to do this, do that. So what am I gonna do? It's not gonna be the same anymore. Because what you have clarity, your mindset is supposed to change. Not everyone's mindset and mentality changes because they're in this program. In order for you to stay clean or prevent relapse, you gotta change your mindset. You gotta change your addictive thinking. You have to change everything moving forward to maintain sobriety. So thinking that you are, some people say you're institutionalized, you've been in that situation so long, or been in that little box so long, that's all you know. So coming out of that box and changing your thinking, it's gonna be a struggle, it's gonna be hard, because it's easier to go back to the old way. Easier to not go off or whatever not, but it's harder to walk away. It's harder to think differently up here because you're so used to this way of thinking. So, moving forward, it's gonna be a challenge. But is it possible? Are we possible to change? Can we change our addictive behavior thinking? Yeah, it's possible, but you have to put the work in. A lot of work. And it's not gonna be easy. You're gonna be frustrated. Because what's easy is to revert back to what's familiar, what you know, what you're normal. Okay, fear of exposure.
Fear of exposure. You act like you are fearless, yet you are full of fear. You fear that you are nobody, that you'll be found out. You're afraid that you'll be exposed as being full of fear. One of your biggest fears is the fear of fear. Fear of exposure, addictive thinking is a fear of self-knowledge, excessive or inappropriate trust, added pride, and zero state. Zero state is a fear that you cannot change.
Agree, disagree.
Agreed.
Sure, man, we got one ready.
You got one, right?
What is inappropriate trust? Inappropriate.
Inappropriate trust, when you are trusting in wrong beliefs, you're trusted in, the manipulative behavior that has not changed. So therefore, you're trusting in the things that have to be.
Okay, inappropriate, okay.
Well,
I was gonna say, this is probably one of my biggest ones, as far as criminal thinking and addictive thinking go, because, like, on the inside, I felt a lot, especially as I was younger, like that I wasn't good at anything, I wasn't good enough to do anything. I didn't wanna be perceived as that, so I would put on a mask, which I'm sure many people have done too, but I put on a mask and, acted like I wasn't afraid of anything, or I could handle this, or I could do that. Blew up my own self-pride. I put off this persona like I'm, confident and cool, where really it's like a duck on water. It looks nice on the surface of a lake swimming, but really underneath those little feet are paddling hard. And that was like the biggest fear of all that is people finding out that really I'm like a fake, I'm a nobody, and I'm finally just starting to get over that recently, because I'm finally at the point where I'm like, you know what, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. And the biggest thing is that, like, because of all the times that I chose to shove down like any learning about myself, I stunted my own personal growth for the longest time, because I wasn't willing to look at like my own faults and look at them as faults and realize, well, yeah, we all have faults. You don't have to be perfect. But here's how you work on your faults to become more perfect. And so not only was I lying to other people, but I was lying to myself, which was the most damaging, because it stunted my growth. Maybe if I had learned how to deal with life and get coping skills at a younger age, I wouldn't be in this position that I am now at 31. So now I'm finally at the point where it's like, I don't care what other people think, and I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable enough to even my own self to look at what is wrong with Kyle and what I can do to fix it, and not judge myself or worry about others judging me in that process.
I'm gonna go ahead and come on out with this, man. I walk around a lot like I'm the big bad tough guy, when really I'm just a big teddy bear. And the fear, that's all me. And it's usually what's going on in my own head. And it gets me into a lot of crap.
I award you because you know and you accept that there's still some other people who don't own up to the fact that it's fear that caused them to act so tough.
Thank you. Anyone else? Jackie? You have something to say?
Yeah, Jackie's got something to say. Share on this one.
Don't tell him you got the same thing.
No, I say this.
you know, I'm telling you the same thing for this week. Trying to put fear in me that he, you know, that it ain't nothing.
I play too much.
Getting serious.
You see?
I play too much.
Wow.
It's just a joke for me.
All right, guys, I statements.
We have one.
So,
How do we move forward? That's
Ignore it.
that's what you're about to say.
Jackie.
Ignore it.
I was about to say,
Little boy pants together.
we all be honest with ourselves, our affairs, our insecurities about ourselves.
That's what it is.
And therefore, we put on a facade to say we're comfortable with this, we're that, when in actuality, we're scared. And it's okay to be scared.
You in the car.
I'm in the car.
Okay, you can,
He said socialism. Don't do what he said.
you know,
I believe that, Charlie.
so therefore,
Higher purpose, man.
if you're not speaking about yourself and you're not, allowing that person's opinion to be his, you have your own, so therefore you share it and we leave it there. We're not here for conversations. This is supposed to be a safe space where you can own up to yourself and it stays here. So therefore, being scared, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable.
I'm scared.
See, I've gotten to a point where it's like, I will express myself how it need be, and if like anybody really feels the type of way because how I'm sharing and they feel the way, like I'll still get there. You know, like,
No, no talking
if
about.
if I cry for anybody and somebody wants to say some shit about that, I'm crying over something serious, like, that's not relevant to what's going on. So if somebody tries to pull in some stuff like that, it don't mean nothing. You know, that means I'm not scared to show that shit. You know, if it's something like, you know, it'd be different if it over nothing, but you know, say I'm talking about something serious, you know, and that shit comes out. You know, that's how it is. You don't like it.
Keep your opinion.
Take all.
Get there we go. I didn't want to say it, you know, like that's how it is. Like anybody comes in here, well, no, but if anybody comes out with any type of emotion like that, you know, I don't go off it of like, oh, he's a bitch, he's crying, you know, because it's now there's some shit I can see where it's like, you know, like something dumb, like, oh, that's over nothing, but there's some serious shit where you're like, all right, he's getting stuff out, man, like I feel that, you know, like I'm not the type, I don't pass judgment. You know, I have no room to judge anybody. I'm not better than anybody. I'm not worse than anybody. We're all the same, especially in this room, you know. We might not be from the same backgrounds or same things. We not consider ourselves the same, but I don't look at anybody more or less. We're all on an equal level, you know, so we're human beings.
Absolutely. I think everybody has their own fears.
I'm sorry.
I don't think there's not one person that can say that they don't fear something in life. Everybody's got fears that they have.
I fear God.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, everybody's got a fear of something. It don't matter what it is. Everybody has some type of fear in their life that either they have to overcome, or you know, or they just run from it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, there's
Healthy fear.
Game time.
absolutely.
Yeah, I got a fear of heights.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm afraid of clowns. I'm in fear when it goes by. I'm fear of police.
I got a fear of the hospital.
I have fearful.
Yeah, that's bad. You know, when a cops are supposed to feel safe and protected around them, but just from the things they've done to you that are very slimy. You know, I've been tased, I've been slammed, you know, for no reasons. No reason, no resistance, nothing. They didn't have anything on me yet. I got tased before, all types of shit. And that's what the cops have produced for me. So someone I'm supposed to feel safe and protected by, that they do the law. Their misunderstanding is they think they are the law, but no. What's written is the law. They're not there. They're to do like if laws are if they're infracted, you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. But they've created that trauma just from the things that they do, you know. I don't feel safe when I see a cop. Even if I'm not riding dirty, it's just I know how they move. I'll be doing the right thing and they will still find any reason. I've been put in handcuffs before they even find anything. And when they don't find anything, you know, it shows like they have nothing to do. They're like,
oh, we're gonna let you go, act like they're doing me a favor. I'm on probation and shit, act like they're doing me a favor, like, oh, you guys had no reason, you guys, they base everything off of your background. And the first thing you do when you get pulled over, they see your charges. Every time I get pulled over now, ever since I got arrested, every time I get a dog on my car. Now, they've hit a couple times, but those times they did, they looked like assholes. And it's just fucked up because they're just such quick dumb clues. That's a fear and it's not even a good fear. You know, it's not a fear of like, I fear the person. I fear of what they're empowered to do. You know, they're allowed to have guns, they're allowed to do that shit. Most of the time, they can get away with it. They can be very manipulative. They won't turn their camera on. It's like their word against us. There could be 20 of us going one word against them. And more than likely, their word's going to stick out.
Well, they've been
it's not fair.
exposed and they're changing a lot of that now.
Yeah, it's not fair. You know, it's not fair what they do. It's just because these are people too. At the end of the day, I went to one kid I went to school with. I've never had a problem. I never even talked to this kid. I seen him in school like once or twice. He got beat up by a bunch of people in school. He got beat up by a girl, and fucking. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything like that, but she was pretty tiny, and he was a bigger dude. And he still got beat up, you know. And fucking now he's going around hitting everybody, especially the people he went to school with. Someone never even gave a problem with. But this shows that like they're holding girls, these kids that got bullied, you know, they want to get back.
They're traumatized.
Yeah, they're from like COs in fucking the county. They do that shit too. They come in there and they just. It's fucking power trip. They never have power. They don't have power at home. Maybe they still live with their mom or something. You know, whatever the case be. It's just it's fucked up.
Fear.
Fucked up.
What does fear?
Powerful
Other
motivator.
fears look like fear. Fear. We all have different types. What are some of our fears? We fear. Some we fear we're gonna relapse. We fear that we're never gonna get out of here. We fear we're not gonna.
I see the zero state is a fear that you cannot change. When you're an addict and you're always hustling to get this money for the next high, and you're always trying to find things, unlawful things to do, whether it be shoplifting, whether it be robbery, whether it be burglary, or it's the fear that, well, let me say this. You go in the store and you got money in your pocket. You got $100 in your pocket. You get a candy bar, you buying something. And instead of you just going in your pocket, just paying for it, that you've been doing it so long that you've been sticking the candy bar in your pocket for so long. And you got money in your pocket to pay for the candy bar, but your old habits, the fear that you not being able to break away, to break that habit, to break that, to break that fear.
Stop stealing.
Huh?
The fear of not stealing.
Yes.
So if you have the money and you need that instant and addictive behavior, you have the money to pay for the item, but you're choosing not to. Because still you're in the addictive mindset. So addictive mindset thinking, you're constantly in there, you know, willing to change, you have the money, pay for the category, but no. You feel like you can get away with it, so you sit it in your pocket and leave. Still you mentioned the zero stance. The zero stance is a sense of worthlessness. You feel that you feel worthless. Other people might not feel that way, but if you believe that within yourself and you're not willing to utilize coping skills to say, okay, get up in the morning, I am not worthless. I am good. I am worth something. I should do it or whatever not. You have to retrain your brain to think that way.
Are you saying the zero state is a fear that you cannot change? Is that maybe that's not saying it's worthless, is it?
These beliefs.
I can't.
Everyone else also believes that you're worthless. You're worthless.
No, I'm talking about at the bottom, where it says fear of exposure. See where it says zero state is a fear that you cannot change.
But you can change. Read over
Zero state is your own perception, thinking like, I'm not good enough to change. I've been just a crack smoker my whole life. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm gonna go out this way dying. I can't change. Everybody else sees me as a piece of shit, even though that may be true or not. It's your own perception about yourself that you can or can't change, and your perception that other people probably feel the same way that you do, whether that's actually true or not.
It's like, self-esteem, low self-esteem. So when you feel bad about yourself, you feel worthless. If you're feeling that way, do you expect anyone else to feel anything else? So therefore, trying to change the thinking, just like you're trying to change being manipulative, the addictive thinking behavior and all that. It's all changing your mindset, how you view yourself, accepting yourself for something more. Because sometimes when we grow up in certain circumstances, you have a parent that gets up every day and says, you're worthless. You're gonna amount to nothing. You're not gonna do anything with your life. You're gonna do this. Eventually, you believe it. And you go through life feeling that way. Until you get positive reinforcement to turn it around. You are worth something. You can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer. You can be anything you want to be instead of worthless. So it's changing your self-perception and the self-awareness and retraining your brain and to accept you for more than what you think you are. So sometimes you see these people that don't have self-confidence. They lack confidence, they lack a drive, they lack any type of doing anything to help push themselves to get better in life. It's like they give up. So therefore, they believe they can't achieve anything. They can't stop taking drugs. They can't own a business. They can't get a wife. Or you understand? So when you believe some things in your brain, it's hard to change. So try to find other coping skills to say, yes, I can. Like younger kids who feels they're not pretty or they don't look good out there. It's what is instilled in you when you were young. So if you don't believe those who believe yourself, you're constantly going to believe you're ugly. I'm ugly. I can't cook. I can't do anything with myself. My life is worthless. So why am I going to try? So therefore, when words, people say words does not hurt and words does not make a difference in people's lives. It does. It does. So therefore, the more positive you are to your children, the more positive you are to your kids, the better adults they become. The more self-confidence you put in your child, the more positive they'll be out there where someone is ready to tear them down because they won't believe them. They'll believe what you teach them. So therefore, when you change this and change your thoughts, your feelings change, and your behaviors will change. So if you push, you have a kid, you push him to be the ugliest kid in the world. You tell that kid you are handsome, you are cute, you are awesome, you are this, you are that. They walk with a sense of pride, a sense of self-confidence, they're motivated. They look in the mirror, they see the most handsome person in the world. But if you tell that child, you're ugly, you're not gonna do nothing. You want to work nothing, you want nothing. They believe that and carry that with them. So therefore, it's a matter of changing your mindset. Same thing with the addictive thinking behavior. We're so used to being in that mindset and manipulating the system, trying to get away with this, to score high or whatever it is. That you build, it stays with you, and that's all you know. And it becomes second nature. So when you go out there, you're gonna swing left with it, and you're gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But here, hello? So stop and think and say, listen, I can't do this because it's gonna get me here, there, and you retreat and learn and say, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna look at, I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna try to pay for this. I'm gonna be honest and moving forward. It's not easy because sometimes it's easier to go back to going in the store and steal something because they're good at it. Because they do it so often, you become an expert. So trying to change that behavior, that's where you have.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about that, like when you're talking about teaching your kids, like building them up by like telling them, reinforcing positive things, but like, isn't there a happy medium to that too? Because like, I remember growing up and my parents were highly critical. So I feel like I didn't get positive reinforcement, but then also I saw parents that were so approving of their kids that were like really not good kids or doing anything good. Like the generation of like everybody gets a trophy, I think is wrong. Because in the end, you do have to put some work into being good or accomplishing things in life. It's not just gonna be, it's not just, so I feel like, so I get what you're saying. You can't be highly critical, but I don't want to like be coddling either to like a kid or to myself. I feel like I'm my own worst critic, which was the worst thing. But then there's a lot of people who are so damn sure of themselves, but yet they're totally incompetent as a person. It's like, how did you even make it this far in life? So I think there is a happy medium somewhere in there.
Okay, in the soccer game, your kid lost. You're not gonna give him a trophy, say, okay, next time your team might win.
They didn't have
So, you understand?
Nowadays, they do
the
that.
participation trophy.
Well, if you win like going second and third place, they're still getting rewards, not something like,
Or
like
second and
things
third.
that like, I'm not saying second and third, like there's a place, I'm saying there could be two teams. And the losing team's still gonna get a reward, You just gotta go off like, if you're not first, you're last. But,
Alright, Ricky Bobby.
yeah, but really though, I was like, now kids though feel like they're left out, so now they're rewarding everybody. So I mean that I don't see it as an issue, but maybe like if they're not taught the right way, that could become an issue where it's like, okay, I don't have to be first and everything. I can relax, as long as I put the effort in, but it depends kind of effort you put in. If you're just not putting any effort at all and you get rewarded, now that's a problem. But if you're trying, I can see that as like, okay, you get like a participant, thing or trying, But now if I just like say I sign up for a sport, I'm in elementary school, okay? I just don't try at all. Say they're teaching me football. Just say I'm like, yeah, I do the football and I just watch it in front of me every time. That's all I do. I go sit at the game, they would put me on, and I get a thing. Show my parents like, yeah, here, look, I did that. That's not fair. I didn't do anything to get that. You know what I mean? Now I say I tried to catch the ball, or I dropped it, whatever the fucking case, I still tried. Now that's when it could be like rewarding because it's like, okay, look what you can work up to, And what I was gonna say though too was I think my biggest fear right now is it's not the fear of like it's more in depth. My fear spirals up this one fear, and it's like the fear of like just losing time. And by that I mean like it's not the fear of like going to jail. That's not the issue. It's the fear of what I'll lose from going to jail,
Right.
or the fear of just how much time I'll miss, what I'll miss out on. So I think I wish I had like the mentality I've adapted over the last like half a year, because after sitting here I've just started to value things a little bit more. It's been aggravating because I'm going to go out like I used to and stuff, but it's just the fact of like I'm not worried what I'm capable or what I'm doing, but I've noticed like if someone has something to say, it's kind of like, all right, like I might be a little passive aggressive, but it's not like how I used to react. Like you feel some type of like I've been just like shrugging shit off. It's not because the fear of them, it's the fear of what I'll lose from reacting to that. So like I said, I just don't want to lose, like I said, possibly family, relationships, my dog, any of my dogs, my cats, just that thing, because I've already missed out on enough time. I've missed out 3.5 years. I'm only 22. I don't want to miss out any more time. I have a whole life ahead of me. And the fear of just maybe not now. Not just in this situation, in general, because what I could lose. If I react, say a coworker talks shit one day, like I've gotten to a fight with my brother on the roof. That was my brother. I could have lost 10 years how we fought on the roof, just stupid little shit like that. And it's like how I react. So it's just all comes down to me of, okay, I got to really think that through, the fear of losing time. That's what it sprouts off, like I said, but that's like branches off that. That's a main thing though. So I just manage my emotions. So it's like at the end of the day, I know, okay, well, if you hit me, I'm in the right. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't need to feed that shit. I get nothing out of it.
I second what Bobby said. I fear losing time.
Please do. Please do, man. Listen, I'm 55, I've done 30 years locked up, brother. And it's all waiting, it's all garbage. Please, bro. If you're young, you shouldn't gotta go to school, do some of this stuff, man. Get out of that bullshit.
Yeah, Mike?
So you're not institutionalized, doing shit like I do. Because look at me, man, I'm 55. And I'm sitting in rehab again. For 18 months. I've done 18 months before. This is crazy, man.
So let it be your
Thanks
life.
for doing this shit.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say something, but again, like, I understand, like, like to give a kid like participation trophy is good. It's better than sitting at home and just playing video games. At least they're trying, but like at the same time, like, why are the standards so low? In the first place, like, Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. If he didn't go back and work as hard as he did, he wouldn't have became the best that ever was. You know what I'm saying? So just because a lot of people, they try something, and if they get rewarded too soon, they may not grasp their full potential and change the world or do anything that's going to benefit the sport or whatever it is we're talking about, whether it be sports
And
or
that's
philosophy.
from parenting, from culture, the background where you came from, and how you push your kids, and how you do the happy medium. And because everything is about. So even when we think about doing certain things in here, because sometimes there's no drugs or anything to soothe my emotions run high. We get cranky, we get very touchy, and people get on each other's nerves, and we all are from different backgrounds, different walks of life, different situations, and raised differently. So therefore, learning to change and be more open and be more acceptable of each other and their quirks or their situation. Because what a bunch of men living together, this was way a stranger, so therefore we don't know each other as well. So therefore, some people are more new people, some are not. Some people don't speak in the morning. We all have different things going on, We all have urges going on and whatever not. So therefore, practicing how to be tolerable and changing your mindset. Whereas someone might say something to you, and from your background and culture and your thinking, you might think that's big disrespect or it's fine, you already understand. But if you do that, or taking a minute to listen, this is on me, where I come from. So therefore, I won't tolerate it, but where that other person comes from, that's me. So therefore, this is why we change our mindset, be more tolerable, stop and think before we act. Be more open, and understand it. Because sometimes we all want to be macho and we want to be hard or whatever not, but it's okay to say, yo, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you. If you left some sort of way, it takes nothing to say I'm sorry. But to some people, it's a big thing. It's like you're pulling teeth. The learning.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Somebody still gotta be charged, ain't money.
Who's that?
Ain't me.
Let's go.
I come from a unique person stance in terms of criminal thinking. It's amazing how I listen to people. They seem to forget. In this society, we are the most adventurous motherfuckers out there. We be taking mad chances to get this dope money. I always look at the trap and the dude in the trap as my inferior, even from the early days. I'm the dude going across the tracks, taxing the motherfucking crackers and coming back. They like hiding, shot like a spider, waiting for a nigga like me to come with that loot. And then as I progressed, and I became gifted in the art that God gave me, I would use the application of what I discovered when I studied social psychology. My man got a degree in it, but I made it applicable in my approach. 20% of my revenue come from the cops. Imagine that. And I roll up on them, I tell them on flip, I'm a signal 400. You know what that means? When they say signal 400 in the radio, come back, they're gonna tell that cracker approach with caution, possibly armed and dangerous. But I got a clipboard in my hand, so they already watching me. But I'm sketching Buddy up. And remember, a cop is what? An authoritative figure. So in his mind, he think he's some type of superhero character, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do your face on point, but I'm gonna amp you up with a muscle game. I might have a point like you're putting down. I got it. You understand? That's automatic share, and I come with extreme confidence, right? And they gotta have that. How often does that happen? A dude like me roll up on you. When I go to the districts where the white people are eating, you know, look at me. I'm a big black guy with a bald head, gold teeth, and a wardrobe typical of the thug life. Do you expect somebody like me to put you in the game real quick? And I don't ask your permission because you're gonna say, I'm good. Why? Because your primary objective is to protect your family. A dude like me come and say, I'm good. I don't know what this dude on, but I don't want him in my corner, I mean? So I gotta be quick. I gotta capture it. Always do the female first. I'm looking jazz. They always got a gun in their hand, by the way. On the dangerous. You know, I got a gun. Try to draw a black dude when he goes, listen, you gotta take that off there, cuz. But oh my God, I got a gun. I said, yeah, that's just in case Mr. Coolhead ever forgets who's the real boss at home. Eat that shit up. They're not expecting me to be articulate and gifted and humorous, you understand? Yeah? They expect me to be some rough neck, very low in intelligence, far from what I'm bringing to the table, you understand me? And I approach it like this. So this gives me a lofty opinion of myself. That proved to be my downfall. You know? When I slide into a spot and I see they got mass security, they don't want to let me in, I go get me an empty motherfucking pizza box. Roll up in that bitch like I'm one of them Uber food dudes. Who you with? I don't know what the fucking dude's name, but if you don't want me to take it, I'll take it out. Oh, they gonna let me in. Might be their superior in there. What's the fucking pizza? You know what I mean? Ain't shit in that box with my clipboard and shit, you feel me? Everywhere I go, I got this air of superiority. Always have been like that since I was legit. I don't talk like these motherfuckers, I don't think like these motherfuckers. I just got mad dope problems. But it's a facade. It's like the devil uses this to amp you up. Before long, I let the typical dope from all dry and shit. I'm smoking more than average motherfucker, which is detrimental to me. I'm killing myself. I get bread. It's simple for me. Time you see me, I got a nice chunk on, I got the bracelet, the pinky ring, I'm a smoker though. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, I'm smoking mad dope. I go 3 days without a fucking bath. My feet, so I got fresh Adidas, fresh force on, but the bitch on the bus said she can smell my feet. How the fuck you smell my feet? My shit laced what? They can smell my feet through the motherfucking shoe. Because I'm always walking up and down. But you can't tell me I ain't fly. Huh? My shit, Gucci the fuck? Huh? I ain't bathed in 3 days, huh? They go from day to night. But in my mind, I can't be faded in this life. These motherfuckers ain't on my level. That's what I'm thinking. Everywhere I go, I'm getting bread. You never see me nowhere without a clipboard. And I got a pocket full of lotto pencils. Why? The bitch is free. You ever been in a 7-Eleven, got a fucking lotto machine right there? You open that shit up, I got a big box of pencils right there. They already sharp, huh? You know I've been there if you see pencils littered around. Oh, she been there. You don't been this motherfucker. I'm killing them. So yeah, I fall right into that stage, you know? Superiority, a Grammy off the opinion of myself. I ain't ready. I ain't finished. Let me tell you. It took me there. Huh? What? That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about. And when I get that pencil game going, I cannot be faded. I'm eating all day. Listen, I draw everybody. The Comcast driver, huh? The lady bringing the mail. I gotta have them. You're not gonna tell me no. You want that shit. I mean. I walk into the Arab store. Every Arab store in Miami, look around, you see my shit hanging on the wall. I'm leaving it with the money because I got to have this dope. You understand me? I cannot be faded on the person. So when I sit here, I hear different people close to it. I'm like, dude, I'm the only one thinking like this, huh? I think that we as smokers are the superior beings out here. Why? Because against all odds, we come up with that bread, getting that money. We can't be afraid. I've been out in the rain, drawing with the shit upside down like this, so the water won't even hit. Huh?
Wow.
We are superior beings. We are motherfuckers, huh? If we can apply this to the business world, we can't. We'd be Fortune 500 motherfuckers, you know? Right. Bitch, you know what we talking about?
Yeah.
These are your superior beings, this bitch. These motherfuckers, what? We can survive in any type of situation. We've been in a chain game. Bitch in the chain game can make anything, huh? You see a bitch in the chain game building all type of shit out of nothing. The best tattoo artists come out the chain game with a motherfucker they made out of a radio. They got a superior gun. They putting back pieces on. $400 for a sleeve out here. Bitches do that shit for a $10 blast in the chain game. Sleeve your ass up. Real shit. The best hustlers in the world come from Black Beyond. If we can combat and defeat this dope shit, we run this shit. Trust that. They don't want to be fucked up with us.
All right, lack of time perspective. When you use this criminal thinking pattern, you do not learn from past experiences or plan for the future. You see behaviors as isolated events. Your philosophy is I want it now. You expect to be a big success with little or no effort. You make choices based on what you want to be true rather than what is true. When you adopt this addictive thinking pattern, getting high is the most important thing in your life. You live only in the present when you are high and only in the near future. How can I get more soon? When you are not high, lack of time perspective, addictive thinking helps you do that.
Thanks for
Good dude,
coming.
man. Good dude, man. Thanks, man.
That's right behind you, man. It's actually touch screen. You can just press N. Yeah, press the red one and press it again.
It's still not.